Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you guys are staying healthy, staying happy, staying motivated. It's a beautiful day here in South Florida. Wanted to make a quick video before we get started, guys. I am a licensed and insured realtor here in South Florida. If you're looking to buy or looking to sell, my number is 305-988-2230. Or if you need a property manager, this is what I do full time every single day. I wake up, eat, breathe, and sleep real estate. So if you guys want to get in contact with me, my name is Joel. Just contact me. I would love to work with you guys. So let's get right into it, guys. Today we're talking about homes right now on the market that are being sold at an extremely discounted price. Now, this isn't happening everywhere in the United States. This is happening primarily in San Francisco. There are homes right now, or there are certain homes in San Francisco that are being sold at 50% of what the listing price, what they're asking for. And as some of you know or don't know, San Francisco right now is having a big uptake of, I guess you could say, economic situations, meaning there is a lot of homelessness going on in San Francisco. There's a lot of issues, drug issues. San Francisco right now is having a big problem, being as it's becoming a less desirable area. And there are certain parts in Los Angeles as well, where the homeless issue is becoming very problematic. And what I mean by problematic is that they have laws in California that allow for homelessness to kind of, how do I say this? The issue of the homeless problem right now is becoming much more apparent because homeless people, and again, this is not to attack homeless people, they are setting up camps, setting up their homes pretty much wherever they want, guys. I have a cousin out there in Fresno, which he's pretty much is Los Angeles. And he tells me, yeah, that it's a problem and it's very apparent. You see him using the restroom, defecating right in public. And what does that mean? It means that it becomes an area that becomes less desirable. It's not as hot as it once was. And again, this is not an attack on homeless. This is just stating facts that the issues of homelessness are becoming much more apparent. It's in everybody's face out there, guys. So when I talk about the homelessness problem going on out there, I'm just talking about it specifically. I'm not attacking anybody that's homeless. I understand people have hardships, people have mental issues, drug issues, addiction. So I'm not attacking anybody that's homeless, but in regards to real estate, what does that mean, guys? It's the same thing as if you have a house in a bad area and the house is in a neighborhood where the houses surrounding are less desirable, whether they're run down, whether they're selling drugs, whatever the case is, it affects the local real estate. And in San Francisco right now, that's what you're seeing, that it's affecting local real estate. Less people want to be in San Francisco right now. There's obviously a lot of politics involved with everything. There's a lot of issues going on, and I don't really like to get into politics because this is not what this channel is about. But it's just in regards to real estate, when it becomes less desirable, pretty much you have lower sales prices and less desirability, and in turn affects the real estate. Less people want to move to that area. So that's really what's going on in San Francisco. There are certain cases, again, that homes are selling for much less than what they're listed for. And again, guys, remember, real estate, you always hear this: location, location, location. Real estate is very big on location. Depending on where you're at, is going to depend on, is going to result in what price you're asking for. Less desirable areas in turn mean lower sales price, higher desirable areas, higher sales price. Kind of what's going on in Miami. You know, it's a very hot area. Everybody wants to move to Miami, South Florida. That's why prices here, even though they have dropped a little bit, you have more inventory, there's homes being sold here every single day, everybody. So just want to touch briefly on that situation in San Francisco. And again, if you are someone that struggles with mental illness, drug addiction, I honestly, I sympathize with those individuals. We all have, life isn't perfect, guys, so we all have to be able to, and I know there's going to be a lot of opinions and and this and that. But I sympathize with every human being because we're all humans at the end of the day. But in regards to real estate, yeah, that's really what I wanted to touch base on, not to get too much in depth on those details. But just keep it moving, guys. We're gonna get into. There are homes right now in San Francisco in the last 3 months that have resulted in $150,000 lost in sales revenue. So in the last 3 months in San Francisco, you have the average home selling for much less right now, being as, again, less desirability. So San Francisco taking a big hit. And really, guys, anywhere where you have a high, or let's say the homelessness situation becomes more apparent, more in your face, this is all going to affect all of that, guys. So let's keep it moving. One thing that I do want to talk about, and what you're seeing a lot now, is there's a lot of buyers right now that are holding off on buying real estate. There's a lot of buyers right now that are holding off, that want to be able to, they're not buying anything right now because of interest rates. And I completely understand that. Obviously, interest rates are really high right now. And, when you're buying a home, especially when you're talking $100,000, guys, you want to be able to make sure that you're getting the best deal possible. I want to show you guys this view real quick. I won't take too long here. But I want to show you guys the view today. We're going to get right back to it. So there's a lot of, right now with interest rates being so high, a lot of people are holding off. And I completely understand that, a lot of people are hoping or waiting for interest rates to drop. But we might not see that drop, everybody. Right now the Fed is not hinting or displaying any interest in trying to lower interest rates. Remember, I briefly stated this in the video the other day. When the market is hot, the way economics works, as you know or don't know, when the market is hot, they want to raise interest rates to slow things down. When the market is not as hot, they lower interest rates to allow the availability of money to be more desirable. But I want to show you guys this view real quick because it's beautiful here. This is our view for today, guys. Man, you know what? When it's nice here in when it's beautiful here in South Florida, it sure is nice. Perfect weather. I love it when it's nice and sunny out. So, but anyway, let's keep it going, guys. So interest rates. So going back to interest rates, you have a lot of people saying that they want to wait for interest rates to drop to be able to purchase their home. And I completely understand that. Obviously, logically, the lower the interest rates, the better, the less monthly payment you're making. But that's with the assumption, guys, that the Fed is going to be lowering interest rates. And we don't know if that's going to be happening anytime soon. There is no hinting that the Fed is going to be lowering the interest rates. There is no certainty that they're going to be lowering interest rates. We might not see interest rates lower for some time, everybody. So for those of you who are waiting for interest rates to drop, I recommend just keep saving money. Keep saving money. Remember, down payment is always going to be a big factor in purchases. Keep saving as much money as you can. Keep your debt as low as you can. That way you can have the funds to be able to purchase when that time comes. As far as, another thing that I hear a lot too is people saying, well, you can buy now and refinance later. That is a possibility, everybody, but refinancing, a lot of time, guys, the way refinancing works is, yeah, they'll give you let's say they'll lower your monthly, but a lot of times that comes with a cost, guys. They don't just lower your payment and then lower everything else. No, normally with the lower payment, what they do is they'll lower your monthly. The interest rate normally will change. They'll do a loan modification. And then what will happen is your let's say you've been paying for 5 years in mortgage payments. What they'll do is they'll do a loan modification, and now instead of that now you owe, let's say, 25 years of payments, they'll increase the years that you're paying, and that's how they offset it so that you get a lower monthly payment. So that's one thing I always like to tell people. Refinancing is an option, but it comes at a cost, everybody. And long-term costs, when you do refinance, 99% of the time when you're going to refinance, you're actually going to be paying more over when they do that loan modification. You're actually going to be paying more of the loan maturity date. Meaning, let's say you pay out 5 years, they give you another loan modification, they throw in another 5 years or 10 years or whatever the loan modification is. with what you're going to be paying monthly, your monthly will be shorter, but over the long term, you're actually going to pay more. So I always like to sell that to people so that everybody's on the same page. You hear that a lot about refinancing. And then you see a lot of also cash out refinance. Cash out refinance, similar method. What they do is you pull out equity in your home, you get cash, and then you're going to get cash on hand. But then what are the costs of that same situation? And cash out refinances are different scenarios, guys, but what I'm trying to get at, and I don't want to get too technical because I don't want to give the wrong information here, but if you do a cash out refinance, you're going to pull out money, but again, what's the cost of it? Your loan term remodifies for a longer loan term, and you end up paying more over the maturity of your loan. So yeah, you pull out money, and it could be possible when you do a cash out refinance, your payment is possible. Again, I'm not saying this is a for sure, depending on how you do your loan modification, who does your refinancing, but it's possible, yeah, you can have a lower monthly payment. The way I've usually seen it is that you pull out equity, and normally your monthly increases by, not by a large amount, but it increases a bit. You can have it both ways, depending on how you do your loan modification. But what I'm trying to get at, guys, is in either case scenario, when they extend your years of your payments, you might be getting the benefit of, let's say, a lower monthly, or you might get the benefit of pulling out equity on your home. But remember, in the long term, guys, you are going to pay more. There are fees and charges that come along with remodifications. The reason I'm even getting into that is because if you want to say, well, I'll buy now, refinance later, these are things that you have to be aware of. And a lot of people will give you wrong information, saying, you can do it like this. Guys, I'm a professional realtor here. I don't ever like to give wrong information. I like you guys to be as informed as possible. And these are scenarios that do happen every day. So if you are looking to buy now and you are thinking about refinancing in the future, that is an option. But just keep in mind that 9 out of 10 times when you guys do a loan modification, the years that it's going to take you to pay that off is they're going to extend the years, and in the maturity, meaning when your loan is on the years that you pay off, you're actually going to pay more for that loan modification, with the benefit of you getting a lower monthly payment, or you doing a cash out refinance. These are just things to be on the lookout and to be aware about, everybody, okay? So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I always like to touch base on that because you hear that a lot about refinancing, cash out refinancing. And also, guys, when you do this financing or this loan modification, when you do these things, you also have to understand that when you do these things, guys, you also have to understand that you have to have a good standing with your credit. They're going to run, normally you got to submit W-2s, tax paperwork. So it's not just as simple as you saying, yeah, I want a loan modification. They require certain requirements for you to be able to qualify for refinancing. It's not just as simple as saying, I want refinancing. So if you lose your job, or you have no more stable income, or your credit gets affected, you will not qualify for refinance, guys. And again, I just want to give as much information so you guys are aware. It's not as simple as just saying, yeah, I want to refinance. There are minimum requirements and qualifications that you guys need to qualify for. Let me show you this view from a different angle. It's beautiful. Okay. All right, guys, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it going. So yeah, so as far as there's also with people saying the interest rates, there's something that could also very well happen, guys, is that your interest rate when interest rates go down, and we're going to talk about economics. Remember, economics is not a science, it's an art. It's based off of theory and historical events. You use a theory to be able to help you make more informed decisions of what's going to happen. So if you have let's say an example, lower interest rate, you're going to have more buyers coming into the market. So if you have more buyers coming into the market, you have more competition. What does that mean? Well, that means that you're pretty much going to have, guys, pricing right now of homes. We can see small decreases, guys, but homes aren't going to be crashing right now, guys. And I know a lot of you may not want to hear that, may not agree with me, and that's fine. What I tell you as far as what's going to happen in the future is not 100% certain. I just go based off my experience. And the reason I tell you guys this is because I've been hearing that homes are going to be dropping for the past 3-4 years, crashing. Next year it's going to crash. Next year it's going to crash. I still haven't seen a crash, everybody. It's still going right now. It's still home prices are staying steady. They have dropped a bit. You have more inventory on the market, but they drop the interest rate, guys, you're actually going to have more buyers in the market. And when you have more buyers in the market, you have more competition. When you have more competition, again, in theory, you're going to have prices either stay where they're at or they're going to go up, because you're going to have more purchasing going on. And what does that mean? It's almost like saying, in the sense that when the interest rate drops, the offset of the interest rate dropping is you're going to have more sales. And because you're going to have more sales, pricing of home, guys, isn't going to be crashing. And again, I'm just going based off of theory of what I studied. I am a professional realtor, but I also have a degree in economics, so I kind of have a gist of economics and what's going on. But regardless, guys, what I tell you is theory. It's not fact. It's not science. I go based off theory, and economics is not a science. It's an art. So just remember that, everybody. If you're waiting for prices to drop, you have thousands of people waiting for prices to drop as far as interest rate. And when that comes in, they're going to jump right in the boat, and it's just going to increase the pricing again. When there's more demand than there is supply, you're going to have increased prices, everybody. So that's just something to keep in mind, so you guys are fully aware about. And I always like to talk about these things so you guys are as informed and as conscious as possible what's the possibility of what's going to happen, okay? So keep going forward. Like we mentioned before, the idea that rates are going to be dropping, I don't see that's happening anytime soon. I know that there are people waiting to buy a home, to have kids and do this and do that. They want to have these milestones done. If you guys are interested in buying a home and you guys are serious right now about buying a home, you should buy the home. Don't wait. And the reason I say that right now, guys, as far as pricing going on, you do have more inventory than there is demand. There are more homes and there's more inventory on the market, so you can actually get a pretty decent discount on a rate. When I say pretty decent, I'm not saying $50,000. I'm talking about pretty decent. If they have something at a competitive price, you can possibly come in at about $15,000 less. Or what I would recommend to you guys is get the seller to give you concessions. Don't ask for the whole pie, everybody. A lot of buyers go into a situation expecting the seller to pay for all these costs. Most of the time, guys, that doesn't work. But you can come in and say, well, pay 1% toward my closing costs. Let's say you buy a home at $300,000. Let's say you buy a home at $300,000, for example, right? You buy a home at $300,000, and you say, "Hey, help me with." And again, guys, homes right now, a single family home at $300,000, they're out there. But remember, it's all about location, right? You buy a home for $300,000, you can ask for 1%. Or if you have a good realtor, your realtor is going to come in and say, "Hey, give us 2% or 2.5% in seller concessions to help pay for closing costs." So if they give you, let's say they give you 1%, they're going to give you, if it's $300,000, they're going to give you $3,000 towards your closing costs. Your closing costs, you have your down payment, depending on what your down payment is. If you have an FHA, you're looking at about 3.5%. A VA, they all range, guys. But let's say FHA is 3.5%, conventional can be anywhere from 3 to 5%. So that's your down payment. But on top of your down payment, you also have closing costs, everybody. VA loans are a little bit different. There are different stipulations because they are backed by the government. But we're talking about most of the loans that we're looking at are FHA or low down payment conventional. You're going to have your down payment. Let's say it's, just to keep things simple, you're paying 5% on a conventional loan. Or let's say FHA, 3%, 3.5%. Let's just keep it at 3% for simplicity. That means that your down payment on a $300,000 home at 3%, you're looking at $9,000 to qualify for that loan and down payment. You also have closing costs, everybody, and a lot of people don't realize this until they actually get in the process. Your closing costs can be anywhere from 5 to 10 grand. So let's say you're looking at 9. Let's just keep it simple, just for simplicity. Let's say your closing costs are $6,000. You're looking at $15,000 between your down payment and your closing costs. But if the seller is willing to give you, let's say 1% or 2%, let's say 1%, that means that you go from qualifying for a loan with $15,000 down from your pocket. If the seller gives you 1% at a $300,000 purchase price, you're looking at about $3,000. So you lower it from $15,000 to $12,000. That's $3,000 you guys just saved. Think about that, guys. That's still $3 grand that you can save. So when you move, that's a nice savings right there. And if they do 2%, 2% of $300,000, that's $6,000. So if the seller agrees to pay 2% towards your closing costs, now you're looking from $15,000, you go to $9,000 out of your pocket. It's a great savings. And right now, guys, is a good time to ask for seller concession. Do not ask for the whole pie. Ask for a part of it. Come in strong, but understand you have to be reasonable, because the seller has to make money too, guys. You know, this is a business at the end of the day. They want to maximize their costs, their profits as much as possible, and the buyers want to minimize their costs. So you guys have to come to a meeting of the minds. Now, some of you might say, well, we don't need realtors to do this, we don't need realtors to do that. Yeah, that's true, but a good realtor can negotiate and guide you. Look at what the homes are selling for. Have your realtor do their homework at what they're selling for. After he does the homework of what they're selling for, then you can say, well, let's say the homes are selling for $300,000. That's a realistic selling price. Ask for the 2% in concessions. But understand, everybody, if you ask for concessions, this is for the buyers out there. If you ask for concessions and the seller says no, you have to be understanding that the seller does not have to give you any concessions, guys. A lot of buyers want to say, oh, they have to or they should. No, they do not. If you get anything from the seller themselves, that's a big, big, big win for you as the buyer. On top of that, another factor to take into consideration is look at how long the house has been on the market for. If a house has been on the market for, guys, realistically, let's say 2 months, 60 days or less, you're not going to have a whole lot of leverage. You know, you're not going to have a great amount of leverage. Now, if a house has been on the market for 5 to 6 months, that is a long time for a house to be on the market. I've had situations, again, I am a realtor, licensed and insured. If you guys want to buy or sell, I would love to work with you. If you guys see a house that's on the market for 6 months, then you can come in and say, well, the house has been on the market for 6 months. The seller is much more likely to be willing to work as far as seller concessions. Why? Because they want to sell their home. Any home that's on the market longer than 2.5, 3 months is a long time in this game, guys. And normally that's because it's either because the price is too high or there's something going on with the house after they do the inspection. These are all things, guys, that you have to be aware about. And again, it's kind of common sense and obvious, but to some buyers, it's not so obvious because they've never bought before. A lot of buyers have never gone through this process. So as a realtor, my job is to educate and solve problems. That is what the best realtors do. We solve problems. We find solutions to problems. Do the inspection. If you find something going on with the inspection, you can either have the seller pay to resolve the issues on the inspection, or you can go back to negotiating and say, hey, I'll give you an example. The septic tank is old, it needs maintenance. Okay, how much does the maintenance cost for a septic tank? It can cost anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. Have either the seller do it, or you guys can put it back into your negotiation, and the seller can credit you that at closing. All these things, guys. The beauty about real estate is that there's no one way to do real estate. Real estate is very it's a very beautiful thing where you can negotiate. Everything is negotiable. You know, so these are just little tips and tricks, you know, to do that. And as a buyer, what I say is this: there's no harm in asking, guys, right? Use common sense. If the house has been on the market for a long time, or the roof needs repairing, appliances are bad, use that and let the seller know, hey, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. We're willing to go forward. We're willing to do this and that. But I'll tell you this, guys, and this is for buyers specifically. If you fall in love with a home and you really like that home, and this is a home that you really see yourself in for you and your family, or for yourself, whatever the case is, always try to negotiate. Always negotiate. No matter what you do in life, always ask for negotiations. But if the seller's not willing to budge, you have two options: either leave the home or you buy it. You move forward with everything. Homes, guys, most homes are not new construction. Most homes, you got to take them as is. No home is going to be perfect, and it's a give and take, you know. And that's what I always tell buyers. Listen, if you like a home enough, it's a give and take. Maybe the seller's not willing to negotiate, but you like the home enough and you see yourself, your future. And I'm not just telling you this from a realtor's perspective. I'm just telling you this from a kind of a friendly perspective. If you like something enough, guys, just buy it. Because if you don't buy it and somebody else comes in and buy it, you're going to be like, man, I could have bought this home. Yeah, it had its little issues, but guys, finding a home that you fall in love with, it's not a simple process, guys. Real estate, I work with clients that take 6 months to a year to find a home. I work with clients that can find a home within a month. It really all ranges. But if you find a home and you feel that that home is for you and you really see yourself in it, always negotiate. But understand, the seller does not have to give you anything. You know, again, right now is a great time to buy because homes are longer on the market and there's more inventory, and people that are putting homes in the market, they want to sell, guys. You know, but just accept that you're gonna go into try to negotiate as much as you can, but understand that sellers do not have to agree to anything you say. They're trying to look at their pockets as you are too. Okay, so that's just some day-to-day information that I tell all my clients, you know, just to be prepared for. Going forward, we talked about the cash out refinancing. We talked about the monthly payment. And yeah, guys, just little tips and tricks. As far as the economy right now, everybody, the economy, we spoke briefly about this in our last video. Actually, not briefly, the whole video. The economy right now, guys, it's an uncertain time. We don't really know what's going to happen with the economy. Do I see a crash coming? When I say crash, I'm talking about a recession. It's possible. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's not possible. It's possible. Do I genuinely believe a recession is coming? I don't know. I like to be optimistic and think not. And then in the last video, there are people out there that say that we should let it fail. We should let the economy just take a dump and just go through the growing pains. And maybe those people are right, guys. Maybe we should let the economy fail. I don't know. What I'm afraid of is what that means for the average income American. You know, I don't like to see anybody struggling, guys. I know what it is to struggle. I don't like to see any of my fellow Americans struggle, none of my friends, family. So that's a whole nother debate, something that you guys got to obviously be aware about. But what I always say, it's like when you guys are going to be on a diet, right? A lot of people will say, well, what should I eat? What shouldn't I eat? You know what you should eat. You know what you shouldn't eat. If you're on a diet, you shouldn't eat bread, pasta, and all that. McDonald's and Chick-fil-A and ice cream. You know this. You know it because you can see your body changing the more you eat it. And it's the same thing with the economy right now, guys. A lot of people want to ignore the fact that there is a lot of borrowing going on. There's an immense amount of financing and just there's an exorbitant amount of credit that we can borrow. And as a country, from the macroeconomic perspective, all this has a cost to it, guys. You know, anytime the government prints money, you got to think who pays for that. Money is not free, everybody. We all have to pay for when we get loans, when this country lends money or gives money. Right now, let's say to Ukraine and to. So yeah, guys, what we're saying is that whenever this country lends money or gives money or sends money overseas, we have to pay for that, and we have to always pay. And there's nothing free in this world, guys, and the way that we pay for that is, well, we have an increase in taxes, we have an increase in inflation, we have an increase in interest rates, all this stuff, guys. It all takes a turn. So just like I mentioned earlier, when you're on a diet and you want to be able to lose weight, you also have to be conscious of the economy, of what's going on. You don't want to be caught with everything going on where you say that possibly that you didn't realize of the situation, you know. An increased amount of borrowing money. Borrowing money is great to a certain extent. You can't just borrow money to your own detriment. And think about it the same way when you talk about microeconomics. It's microeconomics is the study of, let's say, homes, small businesses, but macro takes all that into factor and considers it on a bigger scale, on a bigger level. So when you have the same situation, the government, businesses, and all this macro intentions, this all affects, guys. Think of the U.S. economy as one entity, and when you have the majority of that entity borrowing money that at a certain point they can't pay back, it's a domino effect. If you can't pay your mortgage, the banks get affected. They lose money. If they lose money, they can go out of business and they got to declare bankruptcy. That's a simplistic way to put it for you guys, but these are real situations that can happen in real life. And what I'm worried about is that if we are going to come into a recession, it's just a matter of time till all this happens. And that's scary, guys. It's not a matter of if, but when, you know. And in 2008, 2009, there are economists that will argue that when Obama put the stimulus package out, the stimulus package didn't positively affect the economy, because it wasn't that the stimulus package was bad, it just wasn't enough. And remember, stimulus package means more printing. More printing in turn means that we got to pay for it later on in life, meaning a few years down the road. What we're seeing now, what we're being affected with, guys, is what happened with COVID. COVID, pretty much the economy came to a halt. So what did the government start doing? Stimulus package, started giving out money. And listen, in that time that people were getting free money, it was crazy, because never have we ever seen that the government's taking care of people like that, you know? And the idea of it is interesting, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's good or bad, it's just interesting, right? The government giving money out, but whenever the government gives money out, guys, it's never free. Remember that, okay? And that's it, guys. I don't want to keep hammering the same topic. I wish you guys the best. I hope you guys are being smart with your money. There are always opportunities, everybody. Only a negative person will say there's never opportunities. There's always opportunities. You have to be on the lookout, be smart, be aware of what's going on in the situation, and have money. Opportunities are neither free nor are they easy, but they do happen, everyone, okay? My name is Joel Vargas. I'm a licensed and insured realtor here in South Florida. If you're looking to buy or looking to sell, or you need a property manager, I would love to work with you. 305-988-2230. I hope you guys stay healthy, stay happy, stay motivated, and I wish you guys all to have a great day.